Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode. This is your host, David Kim. Hi, Cecil. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, David. I'm pleased to be here.
Or you have been lawyer a very long time, and then you work in Korea also. Work at one of the most famous Korean law firm as a lawyer, and you study the venture startup with the interesting business idea. So why don't you start off telling us a little bit about yourself and then your background?
Yeah, as you said, I was a lawyer. I was an international business lawyer, and I quite soon after I started in France, I came to South Korea because I wanted to have an international experience. That's how I came to work for Kim & Chang for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I came back to France to become the legal director of LG Electronics in France.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I decided to create my own law firm. That was my first company I created, but it was in my field of experience. And actually, my small business firm was soon successful because I was one of the few lawyers able to work with South Korea, and there was a strong relationship between France and South Korea for the companies. So I was not so more enthusiastic anymore after a few years, and I decided to create WECO because I really wanted to have an impact on the society. So that's when I decided in 2014 to create WECO.
So basically, lawyers and banker and accountant. My personal experience is we always try to support businessmen in a way to avoid any risk, legal risk, finance risk, or the whatever, right? Then it's a little bit passive life. And then I think you are now standing opposite side of the world, working as an entrepreneur, right? How did you compare to your life? What do you like the most about the being entrepreneur?
I think your words were very appropriate when you say it was a passive life. I felt passive, and I'm not the kind of people that like to be passive. I want to be active and again to have an impact. So what I like very much, I enjoyed my time when I was a lawyer, especially when I had my law firm, because it was diverse and interesting, and I decided to do what I want. But so it's not only about being independent, because I was independent before as well. But it's true that I can make my own choice and decision, and it's very important for me. But mostly what I like is really the feeling that I am making something very useful, that there is no solution currently appropriate and right for the issue of the water scarcity and the toilets, and to have the feeling that I am bringing my stone to the world, and that I really can have an impact in a short future on this issue of water scarcity and proper sanitation solution is something very motivating and exciting, I would say. Of course, because I have the opportunity to meet so many people from all over the world, and it's really, I think, what I am enjoying the most to have this relationship with so many different people.
Yeah, I can share that feeling about being an entrepreneur, right? So then, what problem are you exactly solving now? What is your business model? Can you explain your business model step by step?
Yeah, I think the problem we are solving is that there is no solution currently for the non-seaward area when people need toilets, and when we say people need toilet, they need water flush toilets, especially the women, because water is a matter of hygiene and health. So we can forget about the ecological dry toilets. That is not a suitable solution, especially in terms of pandemic nowadays. So there is no solution when there is area that are non-seaward, when you have no sewage, no sanitation plant, plus you add water scarcity like in African cities. you have no solution at all. So what the problem we are solving is to provide water flush toilets that are treating and recycling the water into treated water to provide water flush toilets everywhere to everyone. So that's the main problem we are solving. So it's I would say two kind of customers are asking for our solution. For example, the sustainable cities that do not want to waste water anymore for their public toilets. And with our solution, we are recycling the same water, so we don't waste anymore billions of liters of treated water for flushing. Yep. Or the places again where there is no sewage, and they don't want chemical toilets, because chemical toilets, you have chemical products, and it's very dangerous for the environment. So our business model is quite simple. I mean, for toilets, it's like asking for a market study. Of course, we did a market study, but toilets, it's something vital. It's needed by everyone. So everybody is asking for solution, needs solution. The business model basically is to sell either the full equipped toilets, for example, into a containerized solutions. So we provide the toilet in a cubicle fully equipped with our technology, or just the technology itself that we call the water recycling toilets. That's the name of our technology, the RET. Water recycling eco toilets.
So how is that possible? Like recycling without the additional supply of water, your technology make it possible to recycle the water again and again, right?
That's a very good question. The innovation is to combine a biological treatment and electrochemical treatment. The biological treatment with treat the fecal sludge before the electrochemical treatment, which in 2 hours of time will kill all the virus and bacteria and clarify the water into clean water. And this clean water is stored into a tank that is reused for flushing. So it's a closed water loop, treating and recycling the same water. So at the beginning, we provide an amount of water in the clean water tank, and then the same water is reused and flushed, plus all the urine we collect are transformed into clean water. So we even have a surplus of treated water with the urine we collect.
Are you using some chemical agent to process water and to recycle it again and again?
No. We are just using the water, salt, and electricity to make the electrochemical treatment. The electrolysis reaction produce chlorine, and the chlorine is the substance that is killing all the virus and bacteria and clarifying the water. So we don't use any chemical.
Right. So sounds like a fantastic idea and solution, right? You don't use a chemical, and you don't need to use additional water. Then
and we don't have to be
a lot of problems.
Yeah, and we don't have to be connected to the sewage, because again, we can move the toilet from a place to another. It's the same water that is reused infinitely.
So very exciting idea.
Especially for the African cities that are growing fast, and they don't have water, plus they don't have any sewage, no sanitation plan. So they don't have solution. They have septic tank, but septic tank cause many problems of hygiene, virus propagation, collection of fecal sludge. So that's no solution, the septic tank.
Right. Then it doesn't sound like you need a lot of money to maintain your toilet.
That's a great also the great plus of our toilets, especially since we have sensors in all the tank, in all the technology, and a specific controller and software we have developed. We can monitor on site, and we can monitor remotely and follow up all the technology remotely, and it is the predictive maintenance. So you're right, we are reducing the maintenance needs and costs. But we are using electrodes, filters, pump, and all those kind of components have to be replaced after a certain period of time. And we are developing a solution for the train together with the second biggest train maker in the world, which is Alstom. And we are developing this technology for the train, so so that we can scale and industrialize our solution. And the the request from Alstom at the very beginning was to have a technology that will require low maintenance. So the low maintenance one is one of our pre-requirements. However, working with Alstom is a great thing because we have a test center where we test each component at 200,000 cycles, so that we can assess the life period of each component, and so that we can make sure that our each component will last for a certain period of time.
How about the electricity cost per toilet per month, or the filter cost of the filter?
Yeah, the filter is not such a big issue because our technology is not based on filtration, like ultrafiltration technology. That's not our membrane technology. That's a big drawback from the other technology, membrane or ultrafiltration, because you have to replace the filter. That's not the case for us. The case is just basic filter to avoid the big things to go from a tank to another. So we don't have to replace them so often. So what was your other question?
So I mean, cost of electricity, cost of the
electricity.
filter.
Electricity. Of course, we need electricity to make the electrochemical treatment, and we are now working on the R&D to reduce the energy needed, plus developing an autonomous off-grid energy solution like solar panels. Also, with our technology, we are producing hydrogen, and we are trying to reuse this hydrogen to provide the energy we need. And our CTO is a hydrogen man. His background, he's a PhD, he's a researcher. He's an experienced man that has developed startups and filed many patents in electrochemical treatments to produce hydrogen. So he's a specialist of electrochemical treatment and hydrogen. So that's why we are working now on reusing the hydrogen we produce.
I may ask a question. So you don't have any issue in terms of the scaling economically and commercially?
Not at all. We are talking about toilets. So everybody understand what we are doing. And it's that's the big difference. You know, I am one of the 40 startups in Europe that is in the what we call the EIC, Europe Innovation Center. We are labelized as with the Seal of Excellence, SME champion, European SME champion, the one that one of the startup where investors are willing to invest. And I am surrounded by tech. All are deep tech startups. And the big difference when I am attending a conference with all those great startups making deep techs is that I think I'm the only one where everybody understands what we are doing and why we are doing it. And that's a big plus. And we can feel it when we are talking about commercialization. From the very beginning, even if at that time I didn't have any technology, people were asking for toilets. So you were asking me why I made this swap from lawyer to toilet startup, because it's kind of hard to sell services. You know that you were a service man as well. It's very hard to sell service, but selling toilets, again, as everybody need it, and especially need more sustainable toilets. You don't have to make so much effort.
This is not something complicated to explain. Right?
No, it's not something complicated to explain. And people want solution and they want more sustainable solution. They are glad that totally and it's a fancy topic currently. So that's why we were in the Arte report, a TV documentary with Bill Gates on the toilet of the future. And it was a very successful documentary that has been broadcast all over the world. So people now, they are interested in this topic. And I can tell you that in terms of commercialization, it's not an issue. The issues are the R&D and the scaling to industrialize. So mainly the finance we are looking is for this, to complete the R&D and to scale in terms of industrialization, building the capacities, hiring the people. But mostly they are engineers or researchers, but of course also some business people, of course, because it's still a business. But we know you as a Korean man, you know very well the Blue Ocean strategy from the professor Kim. So I've been educated within LG with the Blue Ocean strategy. And what I wanted to do with Weco was the Blue Ocean market, sanitation market. We are creating a brand new market, brand new toilet and sanitation market with this solution.
Yes.
So
I mean, if you focus on solving the problem solving, right? I understand there is huge needs in Africa, for example.
Yeah.
They don't have a drinking water, basically, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a drinking water. They don't have a water to irrigate their farming, right? That's a huge one of the couple of challenges that they have in Africa. So it's a very, very easy to understand. They should have this solution, right?
Even in developed country, I was surprised that France, Germany, they were really wanted in, I would say, in expect from our solution, because in Paris you are many places where you cannot sewer along the Seine River, for example. So there are many places where they need a non-sewer solution. You have all the construction sites, you have the train, you have and soon the boats. We will provide also the toilet for the boats. So there are, even in the developed country, I was surprised by the need for our solution.
Agree. Also, Asian people, when they travel to the Europe, they complain a lot. Very difficult to find the toilet, right? So, I understand they have a huge need in Europe and the developed world as well, right? Also, they have money. So, I mean, in terms of growing business, maybe it's developed world is much better for you. But in terms of impact on other side of your business, I mean, there are a lot of huge need in Africa. What can we expect from you this year? And then what is your vision for the Wiko?
So this year is to go further with the scaling. So we are now starting to sell and we want to push this business side, because the more you sell, the more you develop your product in line with the expectation of the clients. And you make your company become more famous and visible. So we want to push for the sale, and we are preparing the industrialization with our industrial partners in order in next year to be ready to scale at more important level, to produce more and more toilets. Of course, we have to go on with the R&D, but it's something, this R&D process we will always do, because in the future we want to license the technology. So we will remain a R&D company, but at the same time we want to build an industry, a toilet industry, and we want to take a leadership position. So the long-term vision is to take this long-term position. We are starting now with the public toilets, outside public toilets. Then we will go this year in the inside building public toilets. Then we will reduce the technology to produce residential toilets, and we will push the toilet development for the train and eventually for the boats. There is a big need also for the boats. All the system, we want to be also a leader in all the toilet embedded system market.
Sounds like a good plan. So last question, who is the nicest person you have ever met in your life and why?
Oh, actually, he's my Korean boss. He was my Korean boss. I say he is because we are now close friends. He hired me when I was a very young French lawyer, knowing nothing about the world. And when he hosted me, he hired me, and then he really hosted me in South Korea. And he was so nice and always careful of me understanding well the Korean culture, the Korean country, and always to make me feel comfortable, trying to help me and my family to feel well in South Korea. He's both French and South Korean. He is so, he has a great culture, and he was always trying to make me comfortable and to train me to become a better person. And I was very impressed, and now he becomes a close friend. And he helped me, and he gave me a lot, I believe, because with him, I understood what it is to be a foreigner in a country that is not your home country, and how you should try to understand, to learn the language, how important it is to know the culture and the history of this country, and to integrate yourself, and to always make effort towards the other people, and especially with the people you are managing. So it taught me how to manage as well.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, share with a friend, and drop me a review. Goodbye.